What's up, everyone? Welcome to season 2 of a not so serious podcast. I'm your host. With me, Menace.
Hello, greetings. It's been a while. It's been
It has. It's
two
a new
weeks,
year.
if my memory serves. It's been a while. A lot has happened, ¿verdad? Como que, I don't know. I just can't get in the tip of my tongue. Like, so it's been some stuff happening lately, and
Right?
yeah,
It's like this new year brings
yeah.
new everything. It
There's new
seems
everything. See, there's something
we
new.
we have a brand new logo. We have a brand
Yes,
new artwork
yes.
and more content that we can hope for.
Holy shit!
This new season,
Yeah.
we want our community to grow and to feel more connected. We want your voice. That's right, your voice, the audience who's listening in, to matter.
Yep.
So that means whenever you listen to the podcast, like this episode right now,
Yep.
let us know by tagging us on our social media using the hashtag #NotSoSerious. And if you find a topic that interests you and you want us to talk about it, let us know in the comments. And if you feel like the episode was a banger, which, let's be honest, they all kind of are,
Yep.
share it with the rest of the world. Send it to your brother, your sister, your mom, to your dog, your cat, your fish. I don't know, your pen pal from China.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Whoever. Also, we want you to embrace your love for our podcast. And that means you can now buy official merchandise. That's right. We're talking stickers, t-shirts, tank tops, and hoodies.
Woo!
And a little bit of extra things that we've added here and there. All which can be found on designedbyhumans.com/shop/notsoserious or by clicking the link down below. We made it easy for you guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No, yeah. So Gucci. So on one click. Don't worry about it.
Now, let's talk. Today, we're going to be talking about Cobra Kai Season 3. So let's get to it.
Well, all I gotta say is that Netflix is really be kicking that competition with some great shows coming in. They started this year, mind you, with season 3 of Cobra Kai, which I thought, okay, kind of cutesy, starting the year with, a show that regained popularity with being a Netflix acquisition like late last year. It was like late last year that they just acquired Cobra Kai. And we finally got the answers to our questions from the last 2 seasons. With season 3. You didn't see,
Yeah,
see, I need to put a little bit of a backstory. You weren't watching it at the time. I was
not. So here's the thing. I watched this when it obviously I literally saw it on Christmas Day. I binge watched the first 2 seasons in like 2 to 3 days, and I was excited once it came out this year. And I saw it in literally 2 days as well.
It's a good watch. It's a really bingeful show. Which
it is so good, dude. It's so good.
The level of production, which I was aware of the show before Netflix kind of said, "Yo, guys, so you guys like karate? You like 80s karate? Well, get ready for 2 seasons of Cobra Kai." And I'm like, yes, I remember seeing this as a YouTube Originals at the time.
Yeah.
Now it's
same here.
YouTube.
I wasn't interested back then. It seemed kind of weird.
It was YouTube Red and then now YouTube Premium, and something happened along the way, and YouTube decided not to agree to a 4th season, and Netflix said, "Hey, yo, let's go. I'll send you the fucking money. You give me the best content you get," and they delivered, and I'm very much appreciate Netflix. And this is a very strange position for Netflix, because I know fondly, and people that are in love with shows with Netflix shows know some of the times your favorite show can get canceled rather prematurely.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
But I'm glad that
for example, now that you mentioned that, Sabrina got canceled. They released this last season, and I don't watch the show, but my girlfriend does, Rachel, and she said that it was okay, but sort of disappointing as well. I don't know. That's the only issue.
Yeah, so I noticed que por lo menos con Sabrina it was canceled, but they kind of gave the creators, mira, so pueden hacer como un ending to close things, but I guess it was not the good landing that they anticipated. Que pues, I mean, issues aside with Netflix, that when they know they have a good show to really promote and stuff, lo hacen bien. The level of production is top notch, para mi entender. And if you watch Cobra Kai, which I'm assuming if you click on this podcast,
if you're listening to this,
if you're listening to
have.
this, you've been caught on with season 3. You
quick,
know that
quick
is
reminder.
yeah.
So far, quick reminder. Starting now, spoilers for
Yes.
season 3 specifically.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about season 3. We're not going to talk about season 1 or 2.
No.
Maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit to like explain what we're talking about. This is going to be a strictly season 3 talk because we kind of missed out on the hype for season 1 and 2. But season 3 came out and it's amazing, and we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah. So
mainly. Okay. Mainly, we're going to be talking about like first topic I want to talk about is story, and especially who it was based on this season. Who do you think was based on in this season? Because the reason the show got created was, to tell us the story about Johnny.
Yeah,
and
so
I love that.
It's still
season 1. That's what season 1. It's about Johnny, Johnny, and I love that.
It's a Johnny. Season 1's a very Johnny-ish centric.
No, season 1 is a full Johnny season. It's the story of him. Season 2 dives into like his story with Kreese that comes along in season 2, and then season 3 though. However, I was scared because they were sort of leaning a little bit away from Johnny. Like they didn't really do that, but it felt like a more of a Danny LaRusso sort of season, and I didn't like that very much. Like they saved it, but I like halfway through the season I was scared. I was like, man, let's not descarrilemos, because I really love Johnny.
Yeah, we've kind of seen Danny's entire arc on the movies. This is Johnny's time is now. Say te entiendo. Yes. My initial thoughts, I mean, at least to glance over 1 and 2, I wasn't expecting much. And this isn't like what good can a YouTube show do? Like aside the whole thing, it's very well crafted. They knew the characters well. They created a story, a very compelling story, 30 years after the original. So it said, how do you project yourself? How do you project these characters 30 years into the future, and how do you make them likable, unlikable, more the same? Do they embrace the past, or do they embrace the future and stuff like that? And they really made it seem that yes, Johnny does not embrace the future, or just the present, rather. Very good, because in season 1, the entirety of the plot is just, damn it, LaRusso had a great life, and look at me, I'm working day-to-day jobs. I feel worthless, wasted my teens, and which he explains in season 3. I wasted my teens and basically my 30s partying and doing shit, and now he's kind of regaining that again with Miguel and trying to get it with
Robbie.
With Robbie. So como que, so now there's grown for change. Que yo pensé, ay Dios, van a meter esta mierda de que Johnny's still gonna be Johnny and like there's no character development. But no, like en verdad, throughout the 3 seasons, pues tú ves eso. You see a different side of Johnny, a more adult Johnny.
There's a lot of character growth in this whole season. That if you're looking for like a really good show, and I guess I'm speaking in general, because if you're still listening and meaning the show, but I fully say it like this. I believe this is one of the best shows that depicts character growth, like a series per se, because you see Johnny, because he's being, like you say, he's being held back by the past.
Yes.
In every season, and especially in this one, he keeps being held back by the past, but he wants to change. It's like he always gives himself room to change, but then he just always kind of goes back to the past. But at least they never derive. Like the story keeps being about Johnny, and I love that.
I think even in this season, okay, when I say season, it's season 3. Mala mía. I need to clarify un poco because then I'll be confused. Yes, in this new season, this new one that came out a week ago, they fucking finally, at this point, por lo que estoy viendo, they're making it seem que Johnny is finally, or at least the show is telling me, yo, Johnny's actually trying to fuck off with what happened and embrace what's going on. Kreese is a fucking psychopath. He basically the entirety of Cobra Kai, because he started,
that is so messed up.
He started
the story here. It's
he started it again. He when Kreese, I heard those voices in the the season finale of 1, and then you see that Kreese is slowly upping the ranks, getting the trust of his Cobras, students, and instilling them this notion of self-defense or this notion of no mercy, basically. Y Johnny nota que parte de las cosas, especialmente Hawk, which I'll touch on later, you see Johnny's kind of like change behavior, porque sí, o sea, Cobra Kai, yeah, remember back in the day, yeah, Cobra Kai.
Yeah, we were all violent. Dicks.
Exacto, pero he's noticing que con Miguel, and especially in this kind of surrogate son, even though he already has a son, which is wild to me.
He kind of, which is interesting. I'm going to get to that in a second, but yes.
Y pues, por lo menos, season 1 was like this, flipping the script of, instead of Miyagi though winning, is Cobra Kai winning. And it's almost like a alternate reality where Johnny is this face of karate now. Yes, I finally brought Cobra Kai to, I guess, glory.
Yeah, I finally... And like, the thing I love is, again, he didn't want to bring Cobra Kai back to do what he did. He wanted to make it better, and he does, which is what I love. But Kreese, in the second season, corrupts it a little bit, and then in the third season, he just fucks it up. Because, again, like you said, he takes over.
Yeah.
And he takes over, like he also, basically controls everything. Johnny's out. It's so fucking, it's kind of frustrating in my opinion. I really hate it.
Sí, and also que pues la razón por la que me encanta season 3 and just like the ending and how it's going to seem to be is that in the first 2 seasons you see Johnny kind of being mindful of change, pero algo pasa, and he just shuts down. And he say, "Fuck you, Lorenzo."
Yeah, he always does that.
Season 2, pasa lo mismo. Season 2, season 2 is kind of like the breaking point for him, which is why in season 3 he like, puñeta, Johnny needs to acknowledge que lo que está haciendo has to be different. No, o sea, like you can't, bro, and it has to have a drastic change. You can't just say, pues it's, por decirte, getting with the times, old man. No, he has to purposefully like instill that good knowledge and good como que direction onto its students. Porque con Kreese, él no do rápido, papi. Hawk turned against them. Everyone in the academy turned against them cuando Miguel almost fucking died. He took that responsibility. Y pues entonces, in season 2, you see him flipping, which is fucking hilarious in hindsight. He throws the phone. He's like, "I'm off Facebook," and it's like, no. You're not. You're never off. Cuando season 3
but hits, I mean, I get it.
So when season
I understand his frustration. He wanted to like, leave everything behind.
And also, he was trying to get a good push for Miguel's mom, man. Like that was like, damn it, man, good on you, but Miguel almost fucking died because of you. So no, not for you. No. But
to be honest, that fight. And I'm gonna get into this later on, but that fight scene was interesting. Let's just go to the. Tell me, in this third season, who do you think the story revolves around?
This one.
Do you think it's still Johnny, or do you think it's like a?
Bueno,
it's like a balance.
An inside joke that me and my friend have is that every time Daniel talks, it's either "fuck Cobra Kai" or "I need to get rid of Cobra Kai" or "Man, I wish man, I remember when Mr. Miyagi just bathed me one time, bro. Those were the days." I come okay, Danny, all right, he's dead. So much so like, that
I mean, truth be told, it's also like a way of a respectful.
Yeah.
Because again, the actor for
sí,
died.
y algo que es como que diablo, como que this isn't this isn't like a cultural appropriation of just boy white men just like karate. No, Danny legitimately. Okay, there's a plot point in the season donde he's almost gonna get his dealership como que taken over. So he's looking for answers,
that's
and
actually,
obviously,
this is a perfect segue.
And he always goes for Miyagi. He's dead, and he goes to Okinawa to kind of find that thing. Y lo bueno que por lo menos en este season in particular, que lo habla mucho, is so the analogy in the season is, oh, you're careful of change, of good change. Aunque tú mismo tú digas, this doesn't feel right for me. Porque cuando Danny va para Okinawa, pretendiendo que Okinawa is still this, broken part of the city where there's like more like little kids running around, the village is almost broken down, and you see this mall with freaking Subway, casi KFC, and he's like, pero que es esto? This is not the Okinawa that I thought. And it's that embrace of change que Danny todavía no entendió until he went there. And with just the answers being completely muddied, porque él estaba sintiendo un sense of urgency of like, oh no, like I built this dealership, and now because of the things that's been going on because of the whole Miguel incident, it seems grim. It isn't until those episodes where I think they dedicated 2 episodes in, como que they go back and forth of like, oh, Johnny's doing Johnny stuff. Johnny's doing como que tratando de tener a Miguel como que back, and then Danny being in Japan and kind of like solving his entire thing. But they all match together with just the level of just change. Y que toma tiempo. And like you have to really be you have to be mindful de que las cosas van a cambiar. Y pues con Danny's it's not a vacation, it's a business thing.
Pero, Danny, that was a really good segue.
Pero he goes there and he meets. So again, otra cosa, they go. I don't know if you noticed. Every season up until this point has a reference on the 3 movies. Season 1, you have you have Karate Kid references. Season 2, you got Karate 2 references, and is the
it's still the second movie. Still reference.
It's still the second movie, mala mía, because
it's still the second film.
The Japanese girl is there.
So the thing is that when Daniel goes to Japan, that episode, I was like a bit. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, Daniel. It's like, you're going to Japan. You're gonna fix you have to save your dealership. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I was kind of annoyed, I'm not gonna lie. Then they brought up the girl from the Karate 2 movie, which is the girl that he kind of like falls in love over there in Japan.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cute, I guess. More characters from the past.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, I get it. I was just bored because it was very Daniel. And I'm not saying Daniel, I don't hate, Daniel. I like him, but again, for me, this show was about Johnny. And I get it. They were like, you probably don't want to see Johnny training Miguel for like 5 episodes. So like, we'll give you like half of one episode, then another full episode training him. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then you come to Daniel going to Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
This episode, I guess I said, I was pretty. But then, oh my God, you bring this man, which I'm not going to lie, I did forget the name right now. Okay, let me do a quick search here.
I got you, bro. It's Kukimo, right? Daniel like Kukimo, but then Chosen comes in, and
there you go.
And Danny's fucking terrified because
Chosen, my guy, Chosen comes up. If you saw Karate Kid 2, which we didn't, but obviously we do research, and they give us backstory in the actual show, which is what I love. Just because you didn't see the movie doesn't mean you're going to be completely lost. You understand these things.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, right, Chosen. I'm like, damn, who the fuck was this guy? And then they're like, oh, this is the guy that challenged Daniel back in Karate Kid 2 to a fight to the death.
Ooh.
And we see how brutal that fight actually was. Like, Chosen was gonna kill him, but Danny won that fight. He didn't kill him. him. He made Chosen choose like fucking live or die. But it was so cringy the way that live or die, bro. I'm like, okay, dude, that's kind of such an 80s. That's such an 80s line. It's like live or die, bro. Yo, wow. And well, now Chosen and him go learn some things. And here's the interesting thing: you're like, oh, Chosen's like, oh, I also learned Miyagi Do karate. And Daniel, and I love how Daniel thinks that Miyagi Do is the perfect form of karate, and then Chosen's like, you've been taught wrong. And I was like, now we got interesting. Because the reason I like this show, the reason it's just the 80s influence, not only the music, but also the script. This is fully inspired by 80s movies, fully, like where the classic insults are being called a nerd, you know what I'm saying, or a pussy. And in a way, I like that. It brings you back to simpler. I'm not saying that calling someone a nerd or a pussy is the right thing to do. No. It definitely isn't. But when it comes to this sort of comedy sort of way, I dig this shit. It brings me back.
It is times. 80s comedy. I think like
that's the thing. It's back then. You said this, and everyone was cracking up in the fucking movie theater.
And the demographic aquí, ambos. I mean, they took a gamble. Para mí, yo siento que they took a gamble because in the age of
kids are probably gonna
remaking and like going back to the old and putting into new. Tú sabes, it can be a hit or miss.
This is for nostalgic reasons. This is made for adults and teenagers.
Who
know about Karate Kid.
Same.
Like if your parents were cool and they showed you Karate Kid as a kid, then you're probably gonna understand this show and love it. But here's the thing. So we have Chosen going like, oh. And here's where I was going with the whole like 80s influence. Like, everything Miyagi-Do taught you.
Yeah.
But he teach you everything that Miyagi-Do karate knows. Y yo como que, oh shit, here we go again. And then I put down my phone and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We see Chosen fucking chi blocking this fucking guy. Like Danny. He's like, Danny's going all defenseless, right?
Mm-hmm.
All defense, because that's what he thinks that Miyagi-Do is. And then it's like, Chosen's like, you thought wrong, man. Miyagi-Do also has very offensive moves. And turns out these offensive moves, dude, that's it. They block your hand. Like, they chi block you. Hit very specific pressure points where you can't move your arms, legs, and whatever. And I found that very interesting. So then they're doing this. And what I love the most is what Chosen says to Daniel at the end of that episode, which, if I'm not mistaken, was around the lines of, if your enemy chooses war, you take their ability to start it.
Exacto.
And I was like, that was really good. So I was like, after this entire boring episode, these last 5 minutes have been fucking. Those 5 minutes saved that episode.
It's también, maybe you saw it in a way of like, okay, so what purpose is Danny's entire Okinawa visit? And then you kind of
in a way it was, but obviously that by the end I was like, okay, that and I'm glad. I'm glad it happened. But during the process, I was like,
sí, tú pensaste, isn't this a fucking Johnny show? Like, where's Johnny?
Yeah, I'm like, is this a filler?
Exacto. You thought this is a filler episode? Like, is Johnny not doing anything for like 2 days in this entire?
Oh, and and I wanna, bring this to the point. Just because Johnny isn't on the screen doesn't mean I don't watch the show. I just felt like that episode of Danny going all to Japan and focusing on him so much was pretty boring up until the end. I understood. I was like, okay, because we've had Robbie episodes in this season.
Yes, we have
Juvie, and they've been basically the entire thing has just been him. And I enjoy those. Which it's kind of boring in a way, but it's still I find them interesting because we see how Robbie goes from ups and downs and how much his personality is exactly the same as Johnny.
Yeah,
we'll get to. I'm going to speak about Robbie later. He's a bit of a complicated character.
So I guess to finish up my point on Danny's at least little filler 2 episodes about it, como que it brought purpose porque entonces al final hint he uses that ability in the season finale, but before that he's almost like saying, "Espérate, this entire journey of me learning karate and actually even everything that he learned from Miyagi whether it's culture to the karate, he's resembling this is what Miyagi-Do is, or this is what Miyagi is. And it is until that journey and Chosen being there que él dice, espérate, I've been defensive this entire time. And he was thinking the entirety of his life that the whole strike hard, strike first, no mercy type of bullshit is... no es que it's wrong, pero es como que rápido. Es muy... I'm trying to find the word and I can't find it. It's in my head.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Jesus, man. Am I actually going to be stuck with this fucking word? Desperate. It's all desperate. It's all desperate. And Danny's like, espérate, I can use that desperation to my advantage, which is, if they, como Chosen clearly say, if they want to start war, find a way to disable it so they don't start it.
Take away the ability.
And it's en verdad, Chosen en verdad literalmente le dio en sitio donde dice, diablo, eso duele. I'm like, no, that probably hurts because he knows what he knows the pressure points of the body. And
the interesting point about pressure points, it hurts, but as soon as they hit that pressure point, you're not going to feel it. So it's not like it really hurts. You're just chi blocking, which is a very interesting skill, very powerful. And very scary. Very scary.
Danny's using that to, but as we learn later on in the season, que lo usa. But the ending of this little arc that Danny, he finds a way to kind of save the dealership.
And most importantly, help his daughter.
Exacto. Que es donde vamos para.
Yeah, brings our next segue to the next topic. It's the PTSD shown.
Yes.
In this season from the previous season. So I'm going to talk about the last season, that last fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that last fight, I remember you telling me before I started watching Cobra Kai, you were like, first season is cool, second season is awesome, but that last fight, you said that it was a little bit too. It was longer than it needed to be. I disagree with you in a way.
Okay.
So I loved that the entire episode essentially was the final fight of season 2 because it was interesting. It was like it said a lot because you have all these characters who because you're like that they're going to interact sooner or later.
Yep.
And the best thing about this is that it's the way the setting. So it's written very well. So during the most of season 2, they're in summer.
Yep.
And then by the end of the final episode is when they go back to school. So it's like you have this buildup of like, oh man, they're gonna get together. They're gonna interact. These people are gonna have to interact. We have like quote unquote enemies here, and they're gonna interact here. And they build up to that, and then season 2 finale, you have this grand fight, which to me it felt good because you had all these characters interacting, which you were like, oh, that's awesome too, that's amazing. You're like, Dimitri finally kicking Hawk's ass, which I loved. It's a little impossible if you think about it, but fucking who cares? If you think about it, it's like, that's not.
Yeah.
But whatever, it happened either way. So, then you have the piece de resistance. You have Samantha fighting. What was her name?
Yeah, man. Sicko girl got on like that. That girl's legit.
Psycho girl. Jesus, I forgot her name.
I'm all for Broken House. But you're
finding Tori. There you go.
You're finding karate as like this haven, but like she takes it to another level. Okay, donde Robbie.
Then that's the thing. A lot of people got way too into it. But here's the thing. Tori and Samantha start a fight, but then you legit, she's wearing the that classic spiked bracelet that you got at Hot Topic back in 2008. And she wore it around her, like she had it on her wrist. She's like, no mercy, bitch. And she puts it as a fucking knuckles. And then she just starts punching Samantha and scraping her like a fucking tire. And I'm like, okay, this is where it got a little bit fucking weird. I'm like, but I'm enjoying it because it's being extra for the sake of being extra.
It's 80 extras, dialogue. It's esa mierda, like
Yeah, and I love that. But then you have Robbie and Miguel fight. And obviously, why are they fighting? Because teenager drama, and love, and whatever.
Yeah.
So you have fucking Miguel and Robbie fighting over here, and Miguel does what Johnny taught him, which was mercy, and he didn't really finish Robbie. He didn't knock him out. He just kind of tired him out.
Yeah.
But this is where it fucks me up. It's like, oh, you beat him already. The only thing you had to do was punch him one more time to knock him out, but that seems like a dick move.
Right.
So you show mercy. I don't know where the fuck Robbie got the energy and then just sucker kicked Miguel hard enough for him to go over the railing, fall from like a second story, and land on his back. And
this is season 2, by the way, right?
Yeah, season 2. Season 2.
Right.
So this enters us into season 2, which means Miguel's in a coma. Samantha has PTSD thanks to Tori.
Yep.
Robbie is in juvie. And Tori doesn't have money to save her family and blah,
Which,
blah, blah.
By the way, I thought the whole juvie thing was quick, but it took two episodes to kind of get you that he was on the run, and then...
Yeah, because he was hiding. Yep.
He was hiding.
And I'm not going to lie, I love the haircut.
Yeah.
Robbie got a haircut. His hair looks a lot better, just saying. But this show shows PTSD so well. I gotta be honest.
There is some... there's this line that I think it's going, but okay, they gotta be careful with this because the entirety of Robbie's, I guess, ascension and descension in one season after another. Okay, so you up him up in season 1 by training with Danny and being Miyagi, though, but then you legitimately, almost like ironically, making him fall from grace when he basically pushes Miguel off the second floor. So then in season 3 is the corruption side. Que I don't want to say it was bad or like wrong in any aspect. Como que entiendo donde ellos van o donde ellos quieren ir with Robbie's characterization. Because most of it can be stemmed from just miscommunications. Because otra cosa de esta serie that I find it funny and I don't find it como que... Okay, it's not distracting. When I see miscommunications, especialmente en season 1, cuando sale Miguel and Sam dating, but then Miguel just happens to go one night to the LaRusso house and sees Sam and Robbie, and he just assumes that they're fucking. I'm like, okay, dude, like you just saw them together, and that's the only assumption.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Back in high school, that's exactly how I used to.
And then
for me, it used to be that way.
And then I got the realization: this is a teenage show. They're gonna have
in a way it is. Yeah, they're gonna have these misconceptions, and you think about it now as again, we're 23, 25-year-olds. You're like, oh man, this could have been solved by just talking. Yeah. But back then, when you're 17, 16 years old, you see something and you jump to conclusions hella fucking quick.
Exactly.
You're like, of course. Of course. Yeah, this is gonna happen. This is just gonna happen, period. But like, I really do enjoy the PTSD. That sounded so wrong.
Yeah, that's like...
my bad. I like the way they show it. The way it's shown, because you have Sam obviously has scars.
Yes, an actual scar. Yes, a very visible scar.
Yes. So she's hiding it, and here's where we go. Now she's just self-conscious about her body. They show that minimally, and the PTSD comes from her. Every time she sees the scar, all she can think of is that, and then it just reminds her of the fact that Miguel is in a coma, and she feels guilty for that. You have Robbie running away from his problems. And every time he thinks about his problems, it's just Miguel being in a coma because of him. And he feels guilty. Everyone just feels guilty for what happened. Tori, same thing. She just keeps thinking about that moment. But then they kind of get better, sort of. And you see Samantha trying to battle this by being more aggressive. She thinks that being aggressive is what's going to help her deal with her PTSD. But when she comes into, they have in like sort of mid-season they have a fight. There's a fight. Apparently, I think it's like in a
See,
sort of laser tag kind of place.
Yeah, they interact and they try to.
Yeah, they interact. They were fighting, and all of a sudden, Tori shows up, and Samantha just freezes, bro. She's like, "Oh my god, can't do it." And it's a very. I like the way they show it because essentially PTSD, what it is, you end up having an anxiety attack.
Yep.
And that's what she has. You can see her holding her chest. As someone who had an anxiety attack, you see her like going out of breath, and you start to see her slowing down and thinking and holding her like her like you feel like you're having a heart attack, but in reality, it's just mental.
Uh-huh.
And she freezes, and that's actually it's very well portrayed. And you have them dealing with two different types of emotions. Tori bottled up her anger and feels it. Samantha has no anger, she has regret. And she tries to use it in aggression, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And then Daniel comes with the wisdom from Japan, tells Samantha, he's like, you need to do this, this, and that.
This, and that. Yeah.
Only you have the... and it's the truth. Realistic. It's like, nothing in the world is going to help you. There's not going to be an answer for it. You have to forgive yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
And she does, and eventually, full circle in the final fight of this season with kids, which again was a little bit whatever. But yeah, that's PTSD. I like it was well. It was shown here very well. Robbie, honestly, if I'm being honest, I feel like Robbie should just stay as a. Nah, we won't talk about him. I'm gonna talk about the future.
Yeah.
And, final segment, which is the future of Cobra.
Because I know, gone with the PTSD thing. They showed up very good, and it is a progression. So obviously they're not gonna put Samantha. So they put Samantha in a low. But I knew they were gonna flesh it out all 10 episodes hasta el final. Que she kind of just has to deal with it herself, and she did.
Mm-hmm.
And just goes on with Tori. They're like, fuck that bitch, and she does, and she actually does. So it was inevitable.
Ooh, can we tell?
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry, and no, that's gonna be the next segment. I'm sorry, I just got.
Okay, they kind of show it in full display of just it'll take a while. Yeah, obviously, I think just the consequences of her inactions, que donde continues to boil down the PTSD even more, because cuando hace the surprise attack at the like a laser tag place, I think it was.
She just shows up.
Yeah, una cosa así.
It was a laser tag.
Sí, they go at it, and pues aquí sale Hawk, which this is where I like fucking love Hawk now. He finally has a redemption arc that I
okay,
wanted.
You're right. Here's the thing, and I want to be honest. So Hawk, I hated this guy so much. It was so annoying. But I remember in that scene, yes, that particular scene, and this brings PTSD. It's part of it. You have Hawk here holding his best friend, or his the person who used to be his best friend, Dimitri. He has him in an arm lock, and Dimitri's like, "Okay, look, I learned my lesson. I'm sorry." Exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hawk legit breaks his fucking.
Yeah,
and. Props on Dimitri, the actor. That was some solid act. I really enjoyed the acting.
Yeah.
Screaming. You can feel that it's not just the pain of the bone being like dislocated. It's also the pain of you knowing that that's it. Your friend he's no longer your friend. It's the betrayal. It was like you felt it. You can see it in his face and he's yelling, and the way it was also kind of choreographed. Very well, very beautiful. I really, really enjoyed that.
And he hesitated. Like
it was devastating.
Hawk actually hesitated for the first time in a while.
Yes, he's been showing hesitation and like with facial expressions, but this was the first physical hesitation. Like you see him kind of like do the facial thing and then kind of look around. That's already like a doubt.
Sí.
But then he does it.
Y ahí es donde me encanta, which leads up to basically the final fight is just a very good final. Every season has a final fight basically at this point. So the final fight about this is just great because, but surprise, surprise, is that Sam and Danny's house, and they
they just break in. They just break into Danny's home and they start fighting, and then Hawk sees they're gonna break Dimitri's arm again, and then Hawk goes like, you know what, fuck this. I don't like this, and he realizes what's going. He's like, did we really just break into these people's houses and just start a fight? Yeah,
start a fight just
for no fucking reason. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, okay, fuck this, and he actually fights off, and he kind of switches side, and it's funny to say that to Hawk, you know, he had a better like redemption arc, if you want to call it that way, than any other show. Like, it was funny. I talked about this with my girlfriend. He's like, oh, so you can actually change, and I'm like, yeah, they hinted at it very subtly, sometimes very a lot. They did it a lot.
So,
and she's like, oh, so they didn't pull off the thing, you know, and Ares just decided to split of a second. I'm like, exactly. They gave us hints.
See, they've hinted this, especially. I mean, the most evident one fue cuando rompió el Dimitri's arm. It's just it didn't took a while until the last episode. Que como que okay, pues ahí there is that full redemption because he was still como que like, man, Dimitri's still a weakling. It's kind of like, no,
pussy.
You're like, you're not thinking like that, dude. He's your best friend. Come on, it's okay. He filled the fences. By the way, papi, Dimitri, fucking him up in season 2, papi. Great.
Oh, that was fantastic. So satisfying.
So Dimitri isn't a weakling as he once thought. Like, él ha estado entrenando con Miyagi.
Yeah.
Ha estado entrenando con Sam y Danny totalmente, so he knows a thing or two. It's just Hawk just took it to a different level cuando estaba en Cobra Kai and kind of in the mind spell with Kreese. Porque donde Kreese just decides to influence the entirety of the season, which I guess we could segue onto just Kreese's entire backstory in 10 episodes. Like,
to be honest, that's like Kreese's backstory. No one asked for it. No. They just give it to you there. They're like, hey, look at, what do you think of this? And I loved it. It was very well shot. It was very interesting, and it kind of gives you a sense, because you see how Kreese was bullied. He used to be bullied. Yes. He then kind of stands up, being harassed. Yep. He fights his way out of that. He gets beat up, but he wins in a normal street fight. He has no knowledge of fire. He's having a normal. He's still having a normal brawl. And then the girl he saved becomes his girlfriend. Blah, blah. He goes to the army. And in the army, he's a very how do I say this? There's a term for it. I forgot what it was, but he's a good soldier. He doesn't hesitate to put his to volunteer for anything that they need. He fucking literally stares to the barrel of the enemy and say, "Shoot me, motherfucker!" Like
he's a square, and that's what I mean. I guess he's a square. You know, he's just square. You know,
and the way he describes it, he's like, "Oh, are you Death Switch?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, I mean, that's an interesting way of seeing it. And that's a very Kreese point of view, but then, by the end of his backstory, sort of continuing his backstories, we see that the captain wants to train him up and some other guys to train in the art of karate and whatnot. And for a special mission, and the captain is the one who teaches him about the strike first, strike hard, mercy.
Yeah,
like have no mercy, fuck it. And then they do this mission where they're gonna bomb some. I think this was the Vietnam War.
The Vietnam, sí. Some Vietnamese como que campsites at
so they're gonna bomb some Vietnamese camp. But they're like the guy who put up the bomb. He's trying to get out, and then he can't.
Nope.
He kind of gets he gets caught, and they tell Kreese to blow up the thing, and he's like, I can't do it. Like he's right there. He hesitated. He had mercy, and eventually captured them all.
Okay.
Then the Vietnamese had this fun game, which was like, let's put all of the soldiers, the American soldiers, in cages, then make a pit, fill it with snakes. Have a little bridge in the middle, and have them fight on that bridge to the death. And the death means that you knock him over the pit. And yeah, so then you have Kreese fighting with his captain. And as soon as he's about to fight the captain tells Kreese a little secret. His girlfriend back home is dead. She died. Which obviously makes Kreese kind of lose his way, but it makes him kind of pissed as well that his captain kept that secret from him. So he basically beats the captain, and he doesn't really beat him. The captain he knocks him over, but the captain clings on to the bridge. And then eventually, an airstrike falls into the Vietnam camp, and the American troops are saved. And then Kreese looks at his captain. He's like, you know what? Fuck you. No mercy. And knocks him down. And he kills his captain. I'm assuming from the pit of snakes is where the name Cobra Kai originated.
Sorry.
And that's Kreese's backstory. I really enjoyed it because it was something no one asked for, but they still delivered. And I'm assuming it's because, and this will come in the final segment, it's because of the future of what's going to be coming for next season, which we'll talk about soon. But I really enjoyed the backstory.
Yeah, for me, it's like I always knew Kreese was the bad guy in the franchise. Like he was always gonna be that yang to Daniel's yin, and he's just that bad. But we never understood why exactly. Como que, you can throw in because he's a soldier, but he, as most soldiers are, siempre tiene sus battle scars. Y que carajo.
But it's interesting to see him
sí. Pero they don't. La mierda es que they could have glossed it over to just say, "Oh, he's just a boomer que hace sus cosas." No,
he's just a boomer.
Sí, porque uno dice, ese es un cabrón militar que pues, had his bad times, and he's kind of like manifesting it into the youth, and he's just making shit up, corrupting it in this and way, whatever the fuck. But and by the way, the flashbacks still don't dissolve them porque even throughout the flashbacks, if you put it in sequence como quiera, like he was just getting picked on, supo que no le iba bien las cosas, and he picked this one side que pensó que iba a ser algo que iba a cambiar su perspectiva, iba a cambiarlo para bien. It ultimately ended up fucking him over later on. Yeah. Sí, it really made him worse, porque I think no sé si recuerdo, or I'm making this out here. I think he got no, I don't think he got discharged or anything. They got captured, they got saved and shit. He got out of the army.
He just got out, yeah.
Pero como quiera, like he was, hablan mucho de que Kreese is like that mentally fucked. He got hecho cuanta mil de cosas con esto de Cobra Kai, and this is not. No estoy ni contando ahora. Cobra Kai in the 80s, so basically the OG Karate Kid. He was teaching like wild shit to those kids.
Of course he was, dude.
Ahora pues está manifestando en esta cosa y pues me gusta que...
Because the thing, that's the thing, for in Kreese's mind, it's all about winning. So if we were to put this is being like planting the seeds for the next segment, the three ideals of the three main, I guess you can call them the three main characters in a way. Mm-hmm. You have Daniel LaRusso, Johnny, and then Kreese. Daniels is all about, Miyagi-Do. It's all about defense. It's all about using karate as a way of life and like the lessons that you learn from karate. Johnny's point of view with his Cobra Kai, which then turned into Eagle Fang Karate.
Eagle Fang Karate, but eagles don't have fangs.
We're the shirt. It's his point of view is like, I want to make, because he's like, man, the world has gotten soft. Kids nowadays have gotten soft. I want to make them badass again. And in a way, he sees it as a way of life, but as a more badass way of life. So it doesn't mean that you can be a dick to people. It means that you're cooler now. You can no longer be called a nerd, because guess what? You know karate. And karate is badass. You want to know what else is badass? Eagles with fangs. You want to know what else is badass? 80s rock music, which he encourages his students to listen to.
Yep.
And that's very interesting thing I love about Johnny. And then we have Kreese, who literally only wants to win. His point of view is that in life sucks, and you need to win at all times, because that's just how it is. Like, he's like, knock down your enemies, but not just for the tournament. Knock them down in life. If you don't agree with them, basically, like, break their face. That's what Kreese is teaching the children.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's like, this doesn't, Mercy doesn't win tournaments, but it's not just tournaments. You need to win it in life. He's teaching us, and all the students, like, he's teaching us life. Yogi, okay, guys, calm down. Kreese, you need to calm down.
Como que todo tiene que ser basado en que there are winners and there are losers. Like, punto.
Yeah, that's Kreese's mentality.
And that's como que, okay, that's one way to say it, but he's not saying it in, like, a sport. He's saying it as a lifestyle, cabrón. Like,
you're either on top or you're nothing.
Exacto, you're either at the top or you're just nothing to me. Como que, cabrón, like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah,
like,
take it easy.
Take it easy, bro. It's going like, bro, it's just karate. No, it's a
just
lifestyle.
Exactly. It's just karate. And don't get me wrong, martial arts can be integrated into a lifestyle.
Claro.
Myself, I used to train. I trained in fucking Taekwondo when I was a kid. I left that, and then I started training Jeet Kune Do with my stepdad, and he taught me essentially Jeet Kune Do is created by Bruce Lee, for those of you who don't know.
Okay.
And those, karate, Jeet Kune Do, Taekwondo, whatever it is, whatever you study, Tai Chi, Wing Chun, all of these, it doesn't matter. They are a lifestyle. But the thing you take as a lifestyle is the philosophy behind it. So, for example, Jeet Kune Do, which is the one that I am more in, I don't remember jack shit about Taekwondo. I do remember a lot about Jeet Kune Do. Is the fact that, they work, the way Bruce Lee made this martial art is that it's a mixture of different martial arts. He basically combined a bunch of elements of martial arts that work and put them together. And Jeet Kune Do, as of still, I believe, is the only martial art that doesn't have stances. You don't work with stances. There's no specific moves you learn. So that is a philosophical martial art. And it works with a lot of movement, a lot of jumping, a lot of like misdirection, confusing your opponent, and using striking in a way that is efficient.
Okay.
But what I just said, striking in a way that's efficient, that's like, okay, that's for a tournament. But if I were to take that in real life, what does that mean? Okay, you're going to want to be unpredictable. But also, you want to do things that always land. Like, I want to do this, and once I start doing it, it's for the better. It's like, it's for good. I weigh all my options. It sounds silly, but that's how like martial arts kind of do become a lifestyle. But it's not like, okay, this person cut me off on traffic. I'm gonna drive towards him, wait for him to follow him to his house. As soon as he gets out of his car, I'm gonna fucking karate chop his fucking face because you cut me off. I'm not gonna do that. Kreese, however, he's like, that's exactly what you need to do.
Yes.
It's fucking hilarious. I know I went on a weird way there, but it's just because it's funny how the show is like, man, using it as a way of life seems kind of silly, but you do take these things into life, but just not like that, not in a violent way. And for the record, all martial arts, all of them, are a form of self-defense.
Yes.
No one. If you have a sensei, that literally teaches you to attack someone, get your money back, because that is not at all martial arts. Martial arts, all of them are all about self-defense.
Yeah. But see, I mean, Kreese's entire characterization gets a little bit more fleshed out in this entire season. Que me gusta. I mean,
I liked it. I appreciate
no,
it.
exacto. En verdad, it is not needed, but the fact just say, mira, this way. Y lo ponen en ciertos aspectos bien chiquito, bien cortito. It's always like, I think, in
Yeah, they actually do. They come out of nowhere, but then they kind of make sense.
Yeah, exacto.
It's like, oh, we're getting a backstory. And
again,
you're like, oh.
Again, if you do it by succession, if you just take those clips and you make it like, I think like an 8-minute
put them together.
video,
That's
put
a
them
whole
together.
episode.
That is why Kreese is like this, ¿me entiende? Y por eso es que at the end he calls the little friend that at the end es uno de los soldiers.
He calls a friend because he's like, anything you need, I'm there. And he calls him that friend. I don't know what's gonna happen with that friend, but we'll talk about it very soon.
Mm-hmm.
So with Kreese's backstory and understanding how it is, let's go to this segue of all these three philosophies clashing together in the final fight between the OGs. We're talking fucking Johnny going over to Cobra Kai to attack Kreese, and then you have Daniel stepping in. Now, when I tell you that I was screaming in this moment, because I'm gonna fucking speak about it because I can't. Here we go. Full. You have Johnny coming in, right? And he's like essentially, he's just like, what did I tell you? I told you that if you hurt Miguel or come close to him again, I will kill you. And Johnny straight up goes over there and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Kreese. But what does he see? Kreese is training Robbie.
No.
His own son.
Bobby literally
I was annoyed as I get why they did it. Robbie's a teenager. He's not gonna want to listen to the truth. Whatever. At this point, just make Robbie a villain.
That's what I think it's going, but eso me queda como que
I feel like they're gonna make it. If you don't make him villain, where he doesn't want to kick anybody's shit just for shits and giggles, but like if you get in his way, he will kick your shit. I feel like that's the best way you can write Robbie. Just make him a neutral villain.
Sí, él está ahí. I mean, he's with Kreese, porque pues the entirety
Kreese
of the show
offered him a job.
No, también the entirety of the show was older man telling Robbie, I know what's best for you, and he's like, yeah, pero mírame donde dejó, and he just like dismisses that, and it's just Kreese, I guess, wording, and I don't know, man, his way with words.
Kreese has a way. Kreese has a way of like getting it, telling you, telling you what you want to hear. He
had a way with words.
He tells you what you want to hear. That's the problem.
Y pues, Robbie as a teenager, I get por qué él dice, pues, I would want to have Kreese's guidance because I just went to juvie. I tried to listen to my dad. It didn't work. I tried to listen to this old guy who my dad hates, and he let me down. He's finding someone who can fucking help him direct something. It feels like a Kreese is that person. I done that. I could done that. Johnny's entire arc in this season in particular goes full circle porque como que he's trying to find him again. Espérate, I think I did something wrong. And he's juggling two kids. He juggles with Miguel, but at the expense of him going with Miguel, no trata de estar con Robbie. Y es como que, bro.
And the thing is that, I mean, in a way I get it, because every time he tries to be there for Robbie, Robbie dismisses him. So at this point, he's just seeing this as a pattern.
Sí. Which is a pattern that isn't like a season 3 thing. It's just since
his been season 1,
his reintroduction, he just doesn't want to. Y él trata, y pues entiendo, Johnny's not a good father. Like, estaba absent.
And he's not very patient.
Exacto. Y yo entiendo esa mierda. Ahora, aquí es donde season 3 kind of like basically just say, okay, Johnny legitimately is trying to change. Y se nota so basically at the last few minutes of the show, of the season, where he does go to Miyagi, he's fucking finally getting que no todo tiene que ser right fucking now. And like to win him back, pues aquí es donde sale setting of Kreese kind of weaseling in the notion that porque in the show they kind of did a weird footloose type of thing of like no karate in Old Valley anymore, and then Miguel and Sam do like a speech, and that won him over, and now the tournament's back.
The tournament is back on.
Tournament's back
but,
on.
Yeah, before we talk about that, I want to talk about the fight. I fucking love this fight, dude.
Yes. Which this fight was pending.
This was fight, better. This fight has been like brewing.
Brewing. Yes.
It's like they've said it. They seasoned it in this season, like halfway, and then the finale, dude. So Johnny, he's like, he's pissed at Kreese. He goes there. Robbie's been trained by Kreese. He's like, Robbie, what the fuck are you doing here? Get out of here. And then Robbie's like, no, and he kind of defends Kreese, which is like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But then Kreese and Johnny, Kreese and Johnny fight hard, and Johnny's kicking Kreese's ass. Like he has him in the ground. He grabs a side, and he's about to fucking basically, I guess in a way, kill Kreese. But then Robbie's like, don't do it, and he's like, fine. He puts the thing down, and then Kreese takes the opportunity. He keeps kicking fucking Johnny's ass, and then when Johnny gets the upper hand again, Robbie goes in the way. He's like, look, and then Johnny, respectively, he's like, I'm not gonna fight my own son. But that doesn't stop Robbie from attacking. And we see a side of Johnny that we've never seen. He's going full defensive. He's not attacking at all. He's just defending. And in one of his defensive moves where and it's very common, use your opponent's weight against him, he kind of gets out of the way of Robbie, and he just keeps running into a locker, which is the dumbest thing in anything. Movies, TV shows, whatever, cartoons. I've always hated that. Dude, you can always stop yourself. But they just keep running, and he hits himself in the locker.
Okay.
He kind of gets knocked out a little bit. Johnny feels bad, and then Kreese gains the upper hand again. He knocks him down, and when Kreese is about to end Johnny, Danny out of nowhere kicks him.
Papi, Sacho.
And the words that Daniel look, we've all heard about Ralph Macchio, where he's like not the best actor, and I can agree, but the delivery of that line and that final fight, he's like, "You sent them to my house," and I'm like, "Oh man, this shit just got out of control." And then,
because in a way, yes, this entire Kreese legitimately terrified LaRusso. Lo mismo con Tori hacia Sam. If we're going a little bit back with PTC,
yes.
Bro, Kreese legitimately brought a fucking Cobra to LaRusso auto dealership.
Yeah.
Como que, cabrón, this man is going mental warfare.
He's starting a war with everyone. Yeah, he's starting a war.
Y aquí es donde Kreese is like, it's very dangerous. Y aquí es donde, that scene where Johnny and LaRusso are with
I just love how now Danny and Kreese are now fighting between themselves, and then Kreese is like, "Oh, that Miyagi defense bullshit ain't gonna save you here." And then he's like, "Good thing I don't have to." And they start fighting. Then they go out a window, and Kreese grabs a shard of glass. He's ready to stab Danny. And what does Danny come up with? Bro, Miyagi-Do, chi blocking, bro. He starts fucking ending him, and they're about to kick his shit, and then Robbie's like, "Oh, don't do it," and then
Sam and Miguel
show up. Yeah, and then Robbie's like, "Acho, don't do this. Go away." And then Kreese, some fucking how, goes like, yeah, how about we settle this the old-fashioned way? Tournament.
All Valley tournament.
And this is where I'm gonna step back and be like, why didn't they just call the police when they, broke into Sam's house, right? The LaRusso's house. They could have just called the police.
Bro, because
fuck it, we have a fight.
Karate.
I know, it's part of the show. Don't think about it, it's part of the show. But I will say, I am excited for another tournament. Out of all of the fights in these 3 seasons, the first season 1 tournament fight I love.
It's really good.
It's just the thing. It's a way about tournaments. It's just something about tournaments. There's rules.
Yeah.
So you can't really be super aggressive, but you can still see aggression that they're pulling off. And I like that. Season 2 fight, I didn't really care much for it. because of season 3, the final fight with the OGs. So good, man. I loved it.
Yeah, final
But
fight.
then this leaves us with this sort of open ending where like we have the future of Cobra Kai. We know there's going to be a season 4, but what's going to happen? I don't know. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking the future is going to have, or what I want the future to be. So we all know that. Oh, by the end of this season, actually, you mentioned it. Miyagi-Do and
Eagle Fang.
Eagle Fang joined. They worked together, which was amazing. Everybody wanted this to happen. It finally did.
Sí.
And they're all training in the same dojo. I'm just so happy.
Yo hablé esto before season 3 happened, yo hablé esto con Peter, and I was like, there has to be either a season finale type of thing where they join together, or this is a recurrent thing que Johnny tiene que aceptar que it's not all offense. Él tiene que estar, he has to step back. Y pues, they actually made it better because I think like the entire season didn't have to rush in the whole Johnny has to be with Miyagi. It kind of organically happened porque at this point, Johnny
the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
See, type of thing.
But then we see how Danny and Johnny kind of like see each other, and because it's a thing we totally skipped over that, and that's Ali from
I was about to say that. Yes, I was about to say that she has
a comeback, which is amazing.
And that's
episode,
that's episode 9 and 10, which is perfect. How it kind of goes with episode 9 being a Johnny-esque type of episode where it's like embracing the past, and then in episode 10 is
they teach him how to fuck the past.
It's contrast because as the fight was happening, because the fight has to happen in every season finale, but as the fight is happening, the B plot, which will dwell into the A plot at the end, is when Johnny and Daniel this is another recurring thing in this show.
It's a recurring thing
that every time there's one episode,
befriend each other.
They exacto, but this time doesn't.
They befriend each other,
but this time doesn't seem. Yeah, exacto. This doesn't seem like this just happened one night and that's it. No, this seems like at the end cuando sale, que me encanta, cuando sale Johnny y Daniel y se están saludándose, like as karate, as a taekwondo stand, like yes, they're actually embracing that this evil or this disturbance in Old Valley.
Yeah, the thing is that it felt like when they did that, it didn't feel like they did it for convenience. I just feel like they finally accepted that there are similarities.
They have to say, es como que
it's beautiful. They accepted it finally.
Johnny needed the defense, and then LaRusso needed the offense, and both of them will kind of necesitan eso because Kreese, y esto es lo que pienso, Kreese will legitimately, para mí siento que he's just going to basically up the ante with just the karate type of thing, because
he recruited bullies. He legit went to places to recruit actual people, bullies.
Say. Which Cobra Kai is known for that. I mean, that's the whole purpose of Cobra Kai in the first place. It was mostly because of bullies. It's a bully den. Y ahora con básicamente Eagle Miyagi.
Eagle Miyagi.
Eagle Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai es bello. The Ali introduction me gusta because they kind of hinted at the end of season 2. And it is
that Ali was going to be coming back.
That Ali's like, so this is that. Yo lo voy a decir. 9 is Johnny and Ali's past.
Definitely.
And they'll just talk about the past. Mira, tanto ha cambiado, pero I'm doing better. Everything's different now. Blah, blah, blah. Episode 10, aside from the main plot que viene siendo the fight, the B plot con Danny y Johnny, is that Ali's introduced más para Johnny more than Daniel. Daniel already knows que él tiene que dejar esta pendeja. He knows this because he's more level-headed.
Because his wife has been telling him.
Exacto. Daniel's more level-headed. Es a Johnny. The purpose of that episode es más para Johnny's internal conflict with himself, trying to be ¿qué hago? ¿Qué no quiero hacer? ¿Qué yo deseo? Which it's that he wants to be with Miguel's mom, or kind of inclines to that in a way. Y es que, mira, like, pasó lo que pasó. Pero ahora, lo que tienes ahora, like, use that, man. Like, embrace it. Ha
Yeah.
estado tantos
If you have
años.
something good, don't
Ajá,
lose
no
it.
lo, no lo
Exactly.
uses. Y
You've been
aquí.
clinging to the past when you can just see the future, and he does that in the end of the season, and that was
So cuando obviamente, kind of it's not a weird 180, pero pues, como hemos tenido en estos episodios, Johnny like, algo tiene que pasar con Johnny at the end of every at the end of every season. Y es que when he finally says like, yes, I'm gonna be with you.
he commits to it.
Nota que Miguel is fucked up. Y aquí es donde cambia diferentemente en otro season. Instead of the miscommunication as to por qué Miguel is getting fucked over, he notices que ahora no es Danny no es el problema ahora. Because he just gets it now. He understands, espérate, I'm battling the wrong guy.
Exactly.
It is this mentor que llevo años tratando de, like, basically get him off my life, basically. Y aquí es donde, like, when he comes back to Cobra Kai, y nota que Robbie está ahí, es como que, mira, like, I get it. Like, you don't want in a way, it's almost like an irony, because no es que quiere decir que Chris was meant to come back. He wanted Cobra Kai porque eso era lo que él pensaba que el pasado debe de seguir. Like, that was his safe haven. Pero al Chris coming back and legitimate, like, with his own eyes, porque the show implies that he died or he faked his death and then he comes back. It's Kreese-like to do that. Es como que, like, oh yeah, let me just assume that I'm dead so no one gets about me. Pero cuando él nota cuando Cobra Kai vuelve, and notices que como que,
yeah, it's my chance to come back.
It's my chance to come back. And it's not a convenience to the plot. En verdad, como que se notaba que como que, like, if anyone could have come back and comes back to
just stay, coming to stay
and slowly but surely corrupt what Johnny wants to do, porque obviamente Johnny no quiere joder a la gente anymore. He wanted Cobra Kai as a little safe haven for him for his past, pero, modern twist. Pero Chris is like, no, papi, 80s style. We're not teaching this bullshit. We're teaching hardcore bully boy. It's going, oh no, like, you don't want that anyway. The ending looks hopeful. I think the future of it, pues, you could have the Old Valley in this season. It'll be weird if they don't. Because another thing es que ellos trataron de decir, oh, we have intentions for another season. So obviamente,
yeah,
above season 4. But entonces yo digo, okay, so if you're doing a 5th one and potential final one.
Here's the thing. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like, so this is what you're saying that, right? I feel like, and it's going to be crazy. Give me a second. I've got to charge my headphones real quick. They're running out of battery. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, good. So, I honestly feel like they should. Right, so season 4, we know that it's already. Like they say, season 4 is in training, and it's definitely gonna be the whole, like, we're gonna have Kreese having his friend come over, and he's gonna help train more kids and have an army of Cobra Kais. Obviously, we're going to be getting some Johnny and Danny issues. I don't feel like Johnny's going to leave, but I feel like they're going to have a little bit of miscommunication problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a little bit of communication problem, and maybe there's going to be a bit of a gag where, like, students aren't understanding what they're teaching them and whatnot. It kind of falls flat there. Then by the end, everything's going to be good. That's how I feel like that season's going to work. And then obviously by the end, we're going to have the tournament. And the tournament is going to be grand. I don't know who's going to win. But here's the thing. Let's say that Cobra Kai won. Let's say Cobra Kai wins this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, after that, I don't feel like this needs another season. And I'm going to tell you why. I feel like what they can do is make a Cobra Kai movie. And give us a big finale. Whatever they want to do with that. But I feel like if you bring up another season, why do we need another season? No, why should I watch 10 more episodes about what? About them training again and having Miyagi, Fang, Eagle Miyagi
Yeah, Eagle Miyagi.
win over Cobra Kai, and that's the season? That's it? It feels weird, but the way I would like to see it, and they probably won't do it that way, but I feel like season 4 should be like Cobra Kai 1. Again, but it's not the Cobra Kai from season 1, it's the douchebag Cobra Kai. It's Kreese's Cobra Kai. And maybe after that, if season 5, let's say they make a season 5, I don't want that to be the season. I don't want it to be a season. I want it to be like a movie where, let's say that a couple of years, I don't want to say maybe a year or 2 have passed. And Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang, Danny, Johnny, they've put that behind themselves. They're no longer worried about having karate because they lost the bet, you know? And they don't care. Their children have gotten out of trouble. They don't.
Oh yeah, I know.
Cobra Kai has an attacked.
I was gonna say, there's a stipulation, pero nunca lo dicen verbatim. Kreese goes on to say, Danny le dice, no, puñeta. Kreese viene y dice, let's do this in a tournament. Okay, Danny viene y le dice, Kreese is like, if I win, if I lose, then Danny viene y dice, you're gonna go away forever. Cobra Kai will be defunct then. So
yeah,
y nunca Kreese dice, what if he wins? And they kind of leave it as like this weird, like, oh, whenever he wins, ¿qué carajo va a pasar? It's like, oh, okay.
Obviously, it just means that, you know, they won't be allowed to have karate there, whatever. But the thing is that, you know, I feel like, let's say season 4 is Cobra Kai, the douchebag Cobra Kai winning, and then you have a movie, and it's been like a year or 2, and essentially, let's say, you know, douchebag Cobra Kai won, Daniel and Johnny can't train karate, and they just stop training. They don't care. Their kids, they've gotten out of trouble. They're doing better. But then Kreese is still being a dick. And maybe it escalates, like, sort of like a weird gang kind of way. Because modern times, you know? And then you kind of have Danny and Johnny don't want to be part of this, but their children kind of do. So another tournament comes out of nowhere, and instead of registering as a Miyagi-Do or a Eagle Fang, whatever, they register as a, you know, like the way Robbie did it in season 1.
Independent.
Yeah, independent, and I guess they win a tournament that way. And to I feel like that'd be a little bit more interesting, making it a movie than a whole season. But I just described it. I guess it would, but at the same time, I feel like a movie is my safest bet for them.
So,
because if they will make new seasons, I feel like just season 5 would be it. I don't see a season 6. I don't even know. I can't visualize that.
I think one of these shows, like there are some shows que you can extend the fuckery, extend it to like 7-8 seasons, and you can probably make bank on that, and you know, generate content. I just think, and there's something that me watching a lot of shows have noticed, and especially on Netflix shows, there are shows que tú puedes tenerlo 3, 4, 5 seasons in, y ya, you can basically just create a story and end it. A clear example que los voy a seguir diciendo, and it's just perfect as it is Breaking Bad. But in Breaking Bad, you could have, like, you could have
kept the story, but no,
you could have prolonged Walt's entire chemotherapy somehow, y extenderlo como 8 seasons, por decir, he basically lives, o sea, in that world is 2 years, so he's 50, 51, and dies at 52. You could have extended that shit until he was 55 or whatever the fuck. But I don't know, they kind of concise it into just 5 seasons, and then the movie, which is a prologue. But you have the story beginning to end. Con Cobra Kai, like, O sea, okay. This is what o sea, the showrunners have mentioned que tienen contenido para una extra. Ahora, they could
It's
end
up to
it.
them.
Exacto.
Yeah.
This is if Netflix sees this as sí, se ve muy bien, como, the script looks good, o cómo termina el cuarto para seguirle no, ya se puede ver de esa manera. If they can do 4, be happy with how it ended and how it from beginning to end, you can see that this is a very good story that's been told. You close the chapter, you move on, whatever the fuck. You can just do that in 4 seasons. I don't mind that it be a 4th and final season. If there's another one, perfecto. Lo que me crea duda now is just, okay, the basis of season 4 entirely is the tournament. Ahora, are you purposefully extending the duration of the tournament from training to tournament into 2 seasons, where 1 season is like, yo no sé ni cuánto falta in that world, how long it is, pero assuming que toma bastante tiempo, and they take their time with how, days are counted in this universe, in this show. Pues, qué sé yo, are you gonna have 1 season just talk about the differences between just how Cobra Kai, o sea, the whole Robbie in Cobra Kai, and then Miguel and Sam being with Miyagi though, and also Miguel kind of needs this with Miyagi though, porque yo creo que algo que me gustó de Miguel kind of being this, I guess, on off again con Sam now, but now it kind of seems on
with Sam.
Yeah, it's almost like an on because
which now, I love. I always hate it. I always hate it.
So now it's
those are my favorite.
Sí, so now como que Danny está como que pues a fuego, Miguel, yeah, nice to meet you, como que están más buddies. So it is ahora Johnny the surrogate father now? Is he gonna let Daniel teach Miguel, I guess, the defense side of karate? Because again,
that's the thing. I feel like they will, because they band it together.
Exacto. So aquí digo, okay, so this is another arc or another building block for Miguel to be a better karate man, or the leading man to, I guess, defeat Robbie. Because it kind of points to, again, having a showdown between Miguel and Robbie, instead of Miguel being in Cobra Kai, está en Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang-Do. And then
Eagle Fang-Do.
Eagle Fang-Do. Y entonces Robbie con Cobra Kai. ¿Cómo termine? Yo no quiero decir que es verdad, no, I don't know. It really can go either way.
The thing is that if you make Cobra Kai lose, then
that's over.
I don't know. That's over.
Exacto.
But because I don't want to see another season of Cobra Kai coming back. That'll be boring. But if you make Cobra Kai win, it kind of opens up. It does open up another season, because, like they said, they have the content.
Sí.
And at this point, it's up to them, obviously. But as a viewer, as a watcher, as a fan of the show, I feel like 1 more season is good enough. But also, I wouldn't mind 2 seasons or 1 season in a movie.
Because I think
finishing it there. I feel like that's what we need. 2 more seasons, season in the show.
Because I was even gonna just go on the business side and say that what YouTube couldn't do in 10 episodes, they could do with Netflix with 2 extra episodes, 3 extra episodes. ¿Me entiendes?
That is true. They can add episodes.
They can add episodes, but you can have a better, concise story. And if you really want to finish it on 4, but tú puedes tener esos extra 2 to 3 episodes to kind of just fit better. You can have longer episodes también. So they're all mostly 30, 40-ish episodes. Y pues normal. Pero it's really up to the showrunners. I believe in what they do and what they can create.
So far, they've been doing a really good job. I'm proud of them.
And yes,
it's been a while since I've been
and if you've been listening up to this point, you know that you should know that this is a nostalgia trip. This show, it's just, it makes it new because of the characters. Y también when you kind of go on the story and you can even Google and kind of adiestrarte más in just the world of Karate Kid, it makes sense why Johnny just hates LaRusso for the entirety of the season up until this last one where he, I mean, doesn't hate now. He kind of just says, pues, vamos a cortar el pasado. Vamos a cortar this whole bad blood thing. Y toma tiempo, and I love the fact que Johnny no es de un season para otro. Oh yeah, we're buddies now. No, like, it just takes time, cabrón, because like he has brewed this for years. So obvio que esto no va a ser de la noche a la mañana. But it's been cool. The cool introductions of earlier characters ha sido bien nice. No es nada mundane, no es nada hasta annoying. Hasta creo que lo dije bien, Kumiko's introduction wasn't boring, going, oh, another character in this franchise. No, it's well received because that is a part of this franchise, man. Like, that's part of the history, I guess.
And they don't that's the thing, is that they don't hit you with nostalgic throwbacks.
No, and also they
for the sake of it, it has a purpose, and that is that it feels good.
Yeah, and also the whole sometimes they drop in the parts of the movies, but it's
that's also pretty cool.
But it's not to say, yo guys, this is another flashback. No, this is part of the plot. Like, es para que tú entiendas. For people that haven't seen the movies, here's like a quick thing por qué esto importa, and you're like, of course, because yes, I remember now. I get why Chosen fucking almost killed LaRusso. Yes. So nada más, verdad que it's a fun show, and I'm glad que it has a bigger recognition, because YouTube Premium, for what it's worth, I mean, it had a second season. It basically had a third season, porque este season, not the Netflix per se. This is when YouTube was still around. It just so happens that when the contract expired, YouTube never said, pues no vamos a hacer otro season. Then Netflix said, show me the money, and then they kind of acquired it, y pues por eso que está en Netflix. Pero I'm hopeful. So, bien chévere, en verdad que me encanta que there's this cool show que tiene un buen fan base, even before the show, like, you know, just the movies in general. So
of course.
So tienes tu fanaticada. You don't have to bring new. You don't really have to bring new, because you already have them from before. So it's all good. I'm like, it's a good investment que Netflix is. So good job. Good start of the season. Good start of the year. We're off to a good start.
Definitely.
And I can't wait for more content, because, bro, at the time of we're recording this, WandaVision is 5 days away.
Yeah, 5 days away. That is correct. It is 5 days away. That.
So we're off to a great start with content. ¿Verdad? Siento que pues ahora, como que, yes, finally, it seems like life is starting to be normal. Yes,
definitely.
Finally.
Yes. There we go. This is the first episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Tune in next week. We'll be talking about Wonder Woman 84. I haven't seen it yet, but I will be watching it tomorrow.
Oh boy.
I know.
You guys really want to. I know. I'm just gonna. And OBS cut off the audio. Haha. Great. Hi, this is Post Credit Luis saying thank you guys for your support. Be sure to tune in next week for our in-depth review, or just analysis, of Wonder Woman 84. It'll be a doozy of an episode, because I have a lot to say about this movie. But until then, see you in the next one.